boys and girls, a treat for you. World War II Hurricane and Spitfire. Flown by the current Ops Officer, Flight Lieutenant Anthony Parkinson, and the new OC Ops at RAF Coningsby, Wing Commander Stu Smiley. You won't be able to see it just yet. When they pass, you'll see they're both painted in the colours of aircraft that fought in the Battle of Britain. The two pilots flying today, you've got the most experienced pilot in the BBMF, Parky, and you've got one of the newest pilots in Stu Smiley. Parky being the longest and also a redhead, we know him as a bit of a ginger Yoda when it comes to flying Spitfires. The second aircraft, a Hurricane 2C, is flown by Stu Smiley. This is Stu's first season on the BBMF. Lovely bit of formation flying there. So Parky's flying a Supermarine Spitfire 2A. This aircraft actually fought in the Battle of Britain. She's still got the scars. On the tailplane you can see a patchwork in metal where a German 20mm cannon shell punched through the elevator. Now, you wouldn't think something so beautiful got sold as scrap for £25. But after the war, that's exactly what happened to the two, or as we call her, P7. Luckily, the scrap dealer realised what he had, and he gifted the aircraft back to the RAF Museum. That's a pretty glamorous film star you're seeing there. This aircraft appeared in the classic The Battle of Britain. I think Michael Caine sat in that. What we do on the flight is every time the aircraft have a major service, we repaint them. And we do this to remember a particular aircraft, squadron or ace. P7 is currently in the colours of 41 Squadron. Pilot Officer Eric Locke, Distinguished Service Order, Distinguished Flying Cross. Now he was an ace. Eric Locke shot down 26 enemy aircraft during the Battle of Britain. He was the highest ace of the battle. Was a 109 killer. He shot down 18 Messerschmitt 109 fighters. His finest hour was in one mission. He shot down 2 Heinkel bombers, 1 109, and damaged another. Sadly, Locke was Killed in action 1941. He attacked a convoy. And he was never seen again. Neither his body nor his aeroplane was ever found. Now flying the Hurricane 2C wing commander Stu Smiley. I think the biggest cheesy grin I've ever seen in my life was Stu Smiley after his first flight in a Hurricane. For those of you out there, young people, you're in the Air Cadets. Stu Smiley started flying in the Air Cadets, and now that's him flying a Hurricane. Stu flew the Tornado F3 and then did an exchange tour with the United States Air Force and flew F-15s. A bit different to a tailwheel 70-year-old aircraft, 75-year-old. This aeroplane LF flew with the Poles in 1943. Interestingly enough, she wasn't scrapped and she stayed in the Air Force. 1957 she was refitted, brought back to flying condition, and was part of the what we then called the historic aircraft flight. Kids, if you're really eagle-eyed, you'll see a little wasp painted on the nose of this aircraft. She represents a Hurricane Mark I flown by the ace Arthur Clowes. Arthur Clowes was already an ace by the time the Battle of Britain came along. He fought in the Battle of France, shooting down 8 enemy aircraft. He was interviewed at the time by a reporter who said he was a real tough guy. He wouldn't take anything from anyone. Exactly the kind of qualities we want in a fighter pilot. And in September 1940, Arthur Clowes led a flight of 6, that's just half a dozen Hurricanes, against 50 enemy bombers, escorted by over 100 fighters, and he shot down an ME-110. Went on to fly in Libya, then came back to the UK. He went to a party at RAF Uxbridge and lost an eye. That must have been some party, and that was the end of his flying career. Now the BBMF remembers all those who served in the Royal Flying Corps, the Royal Air Force, from 1914 to the present day. I think today, being Armed Forces Day, our motto lest we forget, is for all those in the armed forces who serve and have served. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed. They say never work with children and animals, but never work with Parky. We've got fuel for 2 passes, so the photographers, get ready, 2 formation passes in Battle of Britain colours. And for those of you who've been asking where is the Lancaster will return in July. So if you want to know more about the flight, there's an official Facebook page, follow us on Twitter, and we've also got a PR stand here at Cleethorpes.